Purpose.
As we know that behind a successful man, there is a great woman. And today I've decided to have 4 of them behind me to be able to have this show a success. But definitely, as we know that when you empower a woman, you empower the family. And when the family is empowered, you empower the nation. Today, I want to empower Sandra. Take it on.
Thank you, Ivan. I'm so delighted to be the one hosting this special edition of Youth of Purpose. My name is Tushabe Sandra, and today we are going to be discussing a topic, accelerating gender equality through women economic empowerment. Basically, to me, accelerating gender equality through women economic empowerment means those initiatives that are taken to enhance women economic growth, like the well-being, the economic well-being of women, their financial independence, and basically opportunities that would usher women into being economically stable. On the show today, I have other panelists, Trace, Lynn, Sisi, and Kata. So I'll take this opportunity to allow them introduce themselves and the show can start.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Cheslin Ankunda is my name, and I'm a team lead at Girls and Mentorship Space, but also a final year law student at Makerere University. And I'm very excited to be part of this conversation on women, most importantly on how we can economically develop ourselves, but also stand out at a better advantage of women in society. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for this opportunity. My name is Sisi Nafula, a law student at Makerere University, a youth leader from Namayingo district, and majorly I'm a female youth leader. So I'm so delighted to be taking part in conversation concerning empowerment of women. And it is really crucial that we discuss this because it is the root of growth of a country. You empower a woman, you're empowering the whole nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am as well delighted to be here. And my name is Kata Jorin Karing. I'm a law student at Victoria University, and I'm also privileged to be the 6th Guild President of the same university. And with the topic today, I absolutely agree that the women's economic development is an absolute achievement in achieving the gender equality that we are talking about. So you empower a woman, like Nafula said, you empower the nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So as we start off our discussion, let's first break down this topic to your personal understanding, like to you as Tracy, as Sisi, as Kata, what do you understand by gender equality? What is it? What's its importance? What are the challenges that come with it?
Well, to me, I think that gender equality, I would want to align it with 2 things. One is the concept of femininity and masculinity, then also to align it with the concept of being male and being female. And I think also some of those people that are really good at biology have come up to say the use of chromosomes may be X or Y, and so you're aligned to a certain side of gender. So now when we talk of gender equality, what is the equality in the gender is what we are trying to look for. If I am a man or if I am a woman, what are the things that can make a move or count for all of us? Or either way, if I am a woman, can I be in a space where I can equally contribute in a very proper way with the men? Because I think one of the reasons as to why we are talking about gender equality is because we have had one gender seem to dominate the other gender. We have had patriarchy especially play a very vital role in putting women at a disadvantaged position than the men. And so gender equality comes in to say, look, can we have a balance? It shouldn't be only about men, or it shouldn't be the women doing this or the men doing that. Can we compete favorably in this space if it is economic empowerment? Can the women have the jobs as well as the men? Can it be more of, can I go out and be in a certain job, not because I am a woman, but because I equally qualify to be in that job? Most of the times we have had people say this this job is for male, this one is for female, maybe nurses are women, and then maybe doctors are men. And to me that speaks a lot, because over time there's been an advancement in such perspectives, but I think there is still so much to do, especially with the economic empowerment of women. Women are still denied access to some of these places to work. Women are still not given favorable conditions at work. Women still are not accessing the jobs because, look, your husband is telling you what you need to do is stay home and look after the children. Or even sometimes your husband, not even your husband, culture in itself, as some of the cultures are not giving women the opportunity to go and work. And they believe that if you go and work as a woman, that you're going to become big-headed, that you no longer be a woman material or a wife material in quotes as they term it, that you should be that respectful woman who stays at home, looks after children, goes to the garden. And even when you go to the garden, you do not own that land. The land belongs to the men. So yours is to only go to the garden because you have to do that hard labor and put something on table, while your husband is elsewhere getting exposed, having that financial muscle. And in the long run, you not compete favorably because some of the issues are already a disadvantage to you. So personally, that's what I can say on today's topic, and I look forward to learn from my fellow panelists. And thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much. So Sissy.
All right, thank you. So with me, when someone says gender equality, two things come to my mind: rights and opportunities. So with gender equality, I think it's about balancing, making sure there is access to rights and opportunities for both genders. So if this is for the men, then can the women also access it? Because we have seen spaces where we have opportunities given a leeway for the maybe men to access, and then they are quite limited for the women. So gender equality is looking at making these spaces favorable, making the environment conducive to a level that if a man can access that space and they are comfortable in it, then a woman can also access it. And on the bit of rights, it gets back to how has the government helped in making sure the law is siding with women having access to same opportunities with the men. Because before you access something, there is meant to be a particular law, or life is full of principles. There is a way things do not just work the way we see them. At times there is something that pushes you somewhere. So how is the government working on this, on the other ancient patriarchy, to pull us from there in order to bring us here? So equality is about making these things favorable, like making it appear like if we are at work, the government, let me say as of now, we have women in employment. That is economically empowering women. But then while they are working, yes, they are in employment. What have we done to ensure that even when they are nursing mothers, even when they are pregnant, they can actually work as well as the men are working, and they will not be fired because they are sickly all the time because they are pregnant? So, what are we doing about that? That is what I see as gender equality. Are there things that we are doing to make sure these people lie at an almost equal basis economically? Yes, that's it.
Hear from Kata as well. What's your say on gender equality?
Well, my colleagues here have said it all, and I would like to agree with them. Only to add a little bit of spices, gender equality means all forms of discrimination, harmful practices, or even violence attached to the women, the girls, and also the boys. So whatever the girl child gets affected with in life, the boy child must know about it and must advocate for it. And what is against the boy child, the girl child must know about it and must advocate against or for it. For example, we have seen many boys coming on board right now to advocate for menstrual hygiene. And that is something very beautiful, because this is something that only affects the ladies. If we talk about equality, we did not specifically mean that whatever man can do, woman can do. But whatever man can do, woman must be empowered to do so. And if woman cannot do it, then they must know about it and either advocate for it or against it. So creating an equitable environment free for all is very important when it comes to gender equality, and it should not be as one-sided as it is right now. But because in this current society, the women are more affected than the men, so we base on the women to advocate for gender equality. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So let's move on to the next. I believe there are very many challenges that the government and even individuals, there are very many challenges we face when we are trying to advocate for gender equality. Yeah. So there are those challenges that I, as an individual, because I'm an advocate for gender equality, Treslin, you are, CC, Kata, I believe we are all advocates for gender equality. So I want to ask you, what are those challenges that you face or you think the government is currently facing as it's trying to advocate for gender equality?
Thank you very much. I must say that challenges seem to be in each and every field that we are in, but specifically to say that the challenges in this gender equality advocacy seem to speak a lot, because these are things we are, not because we had a choice. For example, I did not apply and say I should be a woman, or I did not apply and say, look, I should be of this gender, or I should be a man. And so by the fact that I was born like this, I cannot change it. And I think maybe although some people have tried to change, and you're born a girl and then tomorrow you are a man, you know, some of the people yeah, some of the people have done that. But principally to say that if you are born to and inclined to such a gender, then definitely you have to grow through it. And so if you have to go through it, you have to make sure that it is comfortable for you. Now, I think the challenge is basically that we face, maybe to put it at a society level, is the idea of patriarchy. Patriarchy, maybe to break it down, is where there is male dominancy over the women, and so women are seen as the inferior type of gender, while men are seen because they are the superior type of gender. Take a look. Sometimes maybe because men, we've seen most of the men try to have this kanyama, and because they have had that, somehow they think they are more physically able-bodied than the woman. And that makes them maybe to think, look, this should be my job and this should not be a woman's job. But now, when it comes to women, what are we identified with? That women are a weaker sex, and so they deserve to do weak and small things in society. Right from home, but even in leadership spaces, in the economic spaces, in all the different spaces that you really think about. But me, what speaks most to me is, where do we position ourselves in these challenges? One is that women, we are not always put at the table to be part of decision making. And because we are not put on the table to be part of decision making, men make the decisions for us and we come in to implement. And it becomes hard because we are coming in to implement the process that we are not part of it. So can we have women part of the decision making table? Can we have women lifted from kitchen to the front? Can we have women in positions of influence? Because if we are talking about economic empowerment, if they are passing laws and policies on economic empowerment and there are no women, most likely the terms and conditions applied are not going to be favorable to the women, because men maybe would look at mostly what favors them. And we've seen this because patriarchy has it that way. And then also when you go to society, I think there is much more that we can really do. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Treslin. Let's have a really short break, then we shall come back and we shall start with Sisi telling us the challenges that she faces as an advocate for gender equality. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Youth of Purpose. We are still here discussing accelerating gender equality through women economic empowerment. So Sisi was supposed to tell us the challenges that she faces or the government faces while trying to promote gender equality. Yes, Sisi.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Okay, to me, as an advocate for equality, I think my first challenge that I have really faced is us making equality look like we are fighting for the woman, the woman, the woman, and we end up ignoring the other gender. And the mere fact that we have ignored the other gender, which is the male, we end up disempowering women even more. Because look, the government, advocacies, and everything that is about gender empowerment is looking at helping the girl. So we see when girls are coming from senior 6 to university, they have an extra 1.5. In every district, there is that position left specifically for the women, here a woman MP. And we have made it appear like it is just about the girl, just about the woman. But then the more we empower the woman, and we are not minding about the other gender, the male, we produce a generation of a woman that is empowered and therefore cannot stay with a disempowered male. So I think that's a big challenge. I think we should balance this thing. If we are saying it's gender equality, then let's invest more in making sure they are both balancing in growth, balancing in economic growth, because we see things that are targeting maybe the skilling world. We are looking at a lot of people getting skills right now, most especially the youth. You see the government really investing a lot of money in skilling the girl child. How about the boy child? There is a boy child that is getting out of school, maybe at senior 4, and they don't have money to go onwards, and then every opportunity coming out is for girl child, girl child, girl child. And then later, yes, they're economically empowered, but how about the person they're going to settle with in the very end? And the other challenge is women against women. We realize that as women, we have a problem of not wanting women that are better. You realize that at times we get into spaces where men welcome us because they want the empowered woman. They know how much an empowered woman can do. They know how far you can go if they put you in places like you are the managing director. They know, yes, you can be administratively good in those areas and you can help their companies grow. But if it's women in those spaces, they would not love to see other women rising to their spaces. We have seen very many members of parliament, women, when they get to those spaces, they don't want to leave because they know, yes, this is my space. But how about, you make yourself timelines and this is something of affirmative action. The longer I stay here, the more I'm locking out other people from getting to those spaces. So get to the big spaces and pull other women to come to the big spaces. Because as women who have been economically empowered, we know how best a woman can go far if they're economically empowered. So this notion of women staying back, at times it's tagged on other women who are already on those spaces. It's important that other women get in this drive. Join the men who are already running the drive for empowering women, and let's work together to empower both sexes for gender equality.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sisi. So briefly, let's also hear from Kata, Her Excellency.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Challenges first when advocating for women empowerment are merely traditional. The fact that we are deep-rooted in culture, we find it very difficult to balance the equation between the man and the woman. Much as we do not have to compare ourselves to the men to see that we are actually equal, because I will quote from a famous writer, that is William Goldings, who said that women are actually foolish to pretend that they are equal to men, because for us, we deliver more than the men deliver. You give me a sperm, I'll give you a baby. You give me a smile, I'll give you my heart. You give me a house, I'll give you a home. You give me groceries, I'll make for you a meal. So we are actually doing more than the men are doing. So we should not pretend to be equal, but actually do what we are supposed to do. Let the men do what they are supposed to do and the women do what they are supposed to do. But now when it comes to what women are supposed to do, culture perceives it differently. You'll find that in Buganda, a girl has to kneel and a boy has to stand, And why is it like that? Can't I greet you while standing? Won't you feel the impact that I have greeted you? And then when I do not kneel down, you will gladly walk away saying, I want to tie nampisa, which is not actually true. So culture has made it very difficult for equality to be perceived at its best, because it ends up taking us back to the fact that we are supposed to compare ourselves to the men, which should not be the case. But we are glad that as the world is getting more civilized, we are getting to the point of knowing that, okay, let us do what we are supposed to do, and let us not judge when someone does not do exactly what is expected from them through culture. Because when a woman greets you now and just tells you Jebaleko, you will smile and say, Kali. And that is it. You know, you'll not take it in bad faith, which was not the case before. But cultures should really change, and also the people who are staunch culture believers should embrace gender equality and not make it very difficult for the women. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on to the next, women economic empowerment. Tracelyn, I want you to define for us, what do you understand by women economic empowerment, and help us relate it to gender equality? How do that both relate?
I think personally that women economic empowerment has more to do with an idea of finances, but also an idea of, can I have a better living as a woman? And what do I need to have a better living as a woman? One is that you must have something small that you can do that can be able to help you bring food on table. If it is weaving the mats, if it is making some pots, if it is having a job, can you have something that actually can contribute towards your well-being? And then also I think that when we talk about economic empowerment, we are looking at the policies favorable for us, because how is the market? If I might make my materials at a higher price and then end up selling them at a lower price because I do not have the ready market, or because I don't even have a say in what I have made, and then you find you're not making the profits. So I think that economic empowerment, basically, to align it with gender equality, we must put it with equality and equity. Equality and equity, that if I am maybe in Bushenyi, in Chabjimbi, and I am making this, if I bring it to the market, can it be sold at a price that is really favorable? Most of the times, I think of recently, I saw on TV goats that were being exported and they were being sold at 7.8 a goat. A goat, just one goat.
Oh my.
So, and there were very many goats, so I don't know how much money that person was getting. And if you are to look deep into it, you might find those goats were bought like at 50K from Bushenyi or 70K from Bushenyi. But look what the market is doing, and who actually does a lot with rearing those goats and everything. So I think that it is very important that when we talk about economic empowerment, especially for women, women must have those small things that they do to put something on table. Women must make sure that they can also contribute to their finances and also be financially independent.
Let's listen to Sisi as well.
No, I think about economic empowerment and gender equality. One thing that I have to start with, and this is to the women, while we fight for gender equality, we want to be equal with the men. I think the important thing to note is, it is hard for you to discuss something on a table you put nothing on. As women, it is important that you learn that having some economic independence actually makes you even more beautiful. There are men who have nothing to discuss with a woman who does not know how the dollar rate is at some point. There are people who do not have, what should they talk with you? It's important that we know that the more empowered a woman is economically, the better. The better you look, the better you even speak, because your discussions are around dollars, are around how other countries are doing, because you know these things, you're informed. And when you're doing something economically, in some way you'll find yourself informed, because you know how the things are moving, you know like what is working in export and import, and so you can discuss these things at an almost equal basis with people who matter economically. So it is more like this is something that we should embrace as women. Make sure that at least you have something you're doing. Let something be bringing some money to you. Let that table have at least a little piece. Even men feel happy when there is something little you're dropping on that table. Yes, even if it's too much, it is okay. It's not that it should just be little always. It can be much, it can be moderate, it can be little, but at least be sure there is something that you are adding on table. It is better and a better step towards gender equality.
Let's listen from Kata as well, as you relate.
And economic empowerment with correlating with gender equality is not just a moral imperative. Like Sisi had earlier mentioned, that you realize that they will create as many opportunities for women, government will create as many opportunities for women to work side by side with the men by adding like a 1.5 when you're joining university, by creating positions in leadership so that you can, you know, compete favorably. But in a sense, this is actually demeaning, because if we want to compete with the men or to be equally, to be equal, we should be given the same environment to favorably compete. Yes? And to sum it up, economic empowerment is not just a moral imperative to the government or to the nation. It is something that is actually beautiful, because when a woman is educated and works side by side with the men, then the nation is empowered.
Well, we have come to the end of the show. Thank you so much to my colleagues, Trace, Lynn, Sisi, and Kata. And you, the viewers, thank you so much for being part of this show.
It's been a beautiful episode, and definitely we want to celebrate women and implore women for the role they are playing, making sure that our society becomes better and Uganda actually becomes what it is. These are the mothers of the nation. We wish you a happy Women's Day. See you next time. My name is Ivan Tumukunde. Thank you so much for watching this show. Bye-bye.
Youth of Purpose.